and we can do this via my voice. So he's saying that I'm the best caster in the world. I'm also his best friend. Not exactly reciprocated necessarily, but you know, I really appreciate the sentiment, especially from somebody that has very little emotion. Okay, well, I can't hear you, but hopefully other people can hear you. He's continuing to give me praise. Really appreciate that as we get this game started now, as the bounty runes are about to start and spawn. SumaiL, of course, playing on the Shadow Fiend, and he's not able to click fast enough to get the bounty rune for himself. So very unfortunate, but looking at the total bounty rune situation, EG ends up getting 3 out of the 4. Of course, if you're just joining us, tie-break situation. Out of 3 teams, these 2 teams plus BetBoom, 2 of them will continue on into the tournament, into the lower bracket for the major, and whoever is the odd team out will be eliminated completely. As SumaiL on the Batrider is going to be facing out against SumaiL on this Shadow Fiend. Already has 4 stacks of sticky napalm, but of course nothing else to combo with it quite yet.
Shannon, I'm back.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
You're right, I'm back.
You're on the other side of the studio.
This is next level.
All right, you know what? Go ahead and talk. I'm going to take a picture so I can remember this moment forever.
No, this is actually good. Little known fact for the audience, I actually have a restraining order on Suns fan, so we had to reposition a little bit here.
Just get a selfie going. Go ahead, Cinder.
There you go. Sometimes tech issues happen. Very quick solution here, though, so appreciate that. All right, Alchemist, we have some trouble down here for First Blood going the way of Whisper.
Yeah. Well, Monet takes some right clicks, but yeah, like you said, First Blood goes to EG. So how are you doing all the way over there? How do you like these lineups?
Yeah, so we didn't really get to cover that since we had a little bit of an issue. So I think overall most of what the panel said is what I would agree with. I think the Dire lineup in this patch probably easier to play for the most part, but if the Radiant lineup do get the key items that they were talking about, the Lotuses, the Lincolns, maybe BKBs, there's definitely a timing window in this game where Shadow Fiend and Alchemist will be a tough duo for the Dire to deal with. So mainly looking for EG to set the pace, which I feel like they've been a little bit hit or miss with. Like some games they've done a really good job at playing aggressively around the map and really dictating the pace of the game. Other times they've been a bit on the back foot, and I think in this game you can't really afford to be on the back foot. Your Batrider will not have its efficiency, your Bloodseeker is not going to do what you want, so you really want to be the team to set the tone of the game.
Well, but we're going to see some more action in the bot lane. Whisper's done for. Siamese Cat ends up netting himself that kill. Balance Strike not able to help out his comrade here. So tied up 1-1. Are you actually walking back to the station, Cinder? Jeez, just choose a place to sit, for God's sake. Musical chairs as Baboka able to get onto the outskirts of that blood right. He's going to be able to kill Panda, and a nice spear from XXS will prevent Baboka from dying himself.
This is probably the shortest restraining order of all time. Out of 1 minute.
So how are you doing, Cinder?
I'm good. It feels good. It feels good to be back. I just need a slight timeout from you.
Good clean stuff.
Pretty good start from Aster, though, you gotta say. All 3 lanes are having good CS. And I found it interesting to see the choice of putting Whisper on core in this game instead, or rather, putting the kotl core instead of support. You could have argued that you could put the Monkey King 3 here, since, you know, 2 of the enemy core matchups are melee heroes, and it was part of the reason this hero was picked, right? I assume the reasoning is kotl will have an easier time finding farm. He's gonna buy the auras for his team. But I'm not so sure if that approach is going to work out very well. So far, Whisper has the urn and he's going travels.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if a core monkey would have been able to translate into a true carry in this game, even from the offlane. We've seen that in the past. Teams have been able to run that, but maybe they thought it was too greedy.
Yeah, I mean, Monkey is one of the most versatile heroes in the game for sure. I mean, speaking of that, not that this necessarily has to do with this game, we've been seeing so many heroes that are out of quote-unquote normal position. We've been seeing like offlane Slark, Medusa, 4-position Slark, as XXS is going to take a little bit of damage in the top lane, but he should be fine. What do you think that's attributed to? Is it because of the differences of the changes of the heroes themselves, or is it more map related, or are teams just smoking something real good?
I don't know. I'm still looking for an understanding of the Slark 4. I don't really know What exactly?
That was probably just Soxa saying, I want Slark.
Yeah, but I don't think he's the only one who's playing it.
Oh, really? Concoction ends up connecting. Matthew gonna get glimpsed back into the arms of Monet, but will not go down this time. Takes heavy damage, but of course Whisper is the one that wants to stay alive, so things aren't going too badly here for EG. And we should talk about the mid lane. It's 28-7 on SumaiL and 21-5 on SumaiL right now. And SumaiL is going to have to walk all the way back to base, but now that he has a bottle, and we'll be purchasing the TP to get back relatively soon.
He's behind by a meaningful amount against the Bat, though. A total 400 net worth difference between the two.
Is that just from camps?
I guess regen, and did Bat have an assist? No, he doesn't, actually. I'm a little bit surprised that it's this lopsided, to be honest, given the CS, but SumaiL probably has had to buy quite a bit more regen.
Oh, there we go. Nice stat.
Looks like SumaiL just has, 200 more net worth from neutral, so the regen expenses must have been pretty significant here. Either way, we see it here. Yeah, so 200 more spent on consumables for SF, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of checks out.
Now that we've seen more games, your thoughts on Alchemist as a 1? Because we've been seeing a lot of the Radiance build as if like nothing has changed with the hero.
I think I just consider the hero just full-on flex between all 3 core roles, and you look at the game, like game-by-game basis, what's the most valuable thing to do. That's why the hero is such a great first pick, right?
Oh, see SumaiL, he wants to make use of the first lasso of the game, brings Baboka back into the power range, and will be netting himself a nice kill, and he's going to snag this rune as well. He's going to take some heavy damage, though. He's going to back, and he's going to die. Goodness gracious. Pakaz has come, though. As you can see, the right-click battle between Matthew and SumaiL. SumaiL should be fine. Siamese Cat, not so much, so Pakaz gets something good out of this rotation. But still, the mid laner dying for EG, not exactly what you want to see if you're EG. I said EG twice, so I'll say it a third time. EG. That's 4.
Dire's middle tower
SumaiL gets his bottle refilled.
Against EG.
He used to also be on EG, unrelated. This must be a real grudge match for him.
Tower is under attack.
He was on contract for a while too, and was just not playing for any team. So that was kind of a weird situation for, I want to say, like 8 months or something. I never even... Actually, didn't he sue them? We talked about this before. He actually ends up suing them. I don't even know what happened with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's been included just yet.
Siamese Cat, he's going to take heavy damage. A big blast from Whisper. He's going to net himself another kill. So off to a pretty damn good start. 2-1-0 right now in the off lane for this kotl. And like I said, he has the urn. We'll be going for the fast spear vessel this game.
To finish the whole Alchemist talk, like this hero is flexed between all 3 core roles. You look at the game. Is it a good game for the safe lane Alch? Is he going to get contested or not? And if not, yeah. I mean, you still probably go most of the time the usual build, right? You go Radiance into some sort of either dagger or BKB. And, oh, hang on. He's actually going to get jumped here. Monet taking some serious damage. We'll have the TP out here, and we'll escape.
We'll be fine. Meanwhile, the same strat is trying to be used in the top lane, but XXS will get lassoed, and will have to make the walk of shame once he eventually revives. SumaiL picking up a haste rune. Oh, that's a nice juicy stack.
Love that. It's just something particularly satisfying about farming stacks with SF. Because you feel like you're using skill shots, You're like hitting 3 back-to-back, and it's so easy, but...
If I said that Shadow Fiend is the most classic Dota hero, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Is that the right word for it? I feel like something about this hero is just enjoyable, and it always has been.
I mean, I think part of the reason he's considered that is that there was more... This was something that was way more common, I want to say, back in Dota 1, was players just playing 1v1 mid. And this was like the quote-unquote, skill hero for mid, because people, it would be about... CSing would be hard because you had bad base damage and you needed to hit raise combos to kill your opponents. Sometimes you would play Shadow Fiend against Shadow Fiend, sometimes you would play it against other matchups, but it was a way for players to really showcase their mechanical skill. It's like a lot of stock was placed in how good are you at SF, and even at TI, It's been a while now, but we had that 1v1 tournament at TI, and Shadow Fiend was always the tiebreaker matchup in Game 3. So it's like some of that legacy of the hero still lives on.
Plus, the hero hasn't really
Tower is under
drastically
attack.
changed at all since Dota 1, which is
Radiant
always
structures
cool.
are fortified.
Standing the test of time as Rupture onto XXS, who's just going to use his arena and spear and just destroy Pakaz. SumaiL is here with a couple raises for Panda. Whisper has actually come to play as well, but he's going to try to go back into the gate. And it looks like he's going to regret that decision. As SumaiL continues to pursue, but the horse is pretty fast. Baboka, though, not going to be so lucky. All right, Whisper ends up taking out Siamese Cat. Baboka looks to be next. Ends up being a 3 for 2. Aster lose more members, but you did get the position 1 on EG.
Whisper is filthy rich right now on this offlane kotl.
Oh, he didn't even bother for the Spirit Vessel. He just went straight Boots of Travel, and now...
Yeah, he's paying Vessel now. I think this is the right order to do it in regardless. You want that mobility. You want to constantly be able to connect on the top side of the map, on the mid if needed.
Is under attack.
This is the standard way of building when you go this build, is to get the fast earn for the lane and for the early kills. And you go for the travels into Vessel. So
That's something we haven't really talked about since the patch came out. If you die, you get a charge now.
Yep.
So that's just a net buff for Earn and Spirit Vessel.
absolutely. If you're feeder, buy earn.
That's right.
You're gonna have charges all the time.
Use it in the
But you
fountain.
only get a charge if you have 0 when you die.
Oh, is that true?
I believe so. Yeah, I think you get a charge.
Matthew, he's going to run right into a large portion of Aster, but you can see SumaiL already getting off his lasso on the Disruptor, who gets dropped real fast, and SumaiL has to kind of just stand his ground. He's going to get healed from the low ground by Baboka, but I don't know if they have enough to save him. Decrepify is only going to delay the inevitable as XXS and company now might have to back off. Concoction comes in from Monet, but there's only so much he can do. 3 members on Aster have already died, and now Monet's getting slowed perpetually. Baboka's dead. This could be a full team wipe in favor of EG. Concoction not there in time.
Damn.
Triple kill for SumaiL, and the entirety of Aster get destroyed.
This approach against Elk, I'm actually really loving it in action now that we get to see it. So you give away a first pick Alchemist, and what you're doing is you're just picking this insane tempo. And we were concerned whether EG were going to be able to put this up, but so far so good. The kotl is playing fast, the Bat is playing fast, Bloodseeker is by nature going to be fast. He wasn't even involved in this. This was a 4v5.
Oh, you're right.
He's just farming top while kotl is just annihilating everybody. This hero is
like, oh, why am I so
snowballer.
buffed across the map all of a sudden? Everyone's so low.
Oh wow, this is fun. I'm fast. How's everybody else doing? Yeah, it's just well played. It's literally just on the other side of the map cheering them on.
Wow,
Amazing.
that is...
Cheerleader Bloodseeker by Bakaz.
That might be worst case scenario for Aster. Not only do you get team wipe without even getting 1 member, but the enemy carry wasn't there the whole
Yeah,
time.
I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that, right? And you have to say, like, the pick of the game so far, enabling all of this for me is the kotl. I think the offlane kotl from Whisper, I was questioning it would have been better to put it support and play the monkey carry, or sorry, core, because of the 2 melee matchups. But, I mean, the payoff, they've definitely silenced me with this for now. This offlane kotl has been working wonders, and obviously SumaiL on the Bat. Had a good lane matchup against the Shadow Fiend to begin with. He's now 7-1. I don't know, man. This is going to be a rough one for Aster. You're 4k gold behind me at 11, and you have Alk. Like, this is an absolute... Is trouncing a word? I want to say that.
It is.
Yeah. It means you're getting beat up, right?
Well, trouncing,
Yeah.
It should be. Trounce is definitely a word.
Right.
Trounced.
Yeah.
So trouncing should be a word. Not very common, of course.
No.
We should have a new thing where we just introduce a new word every day.
I like that. Yeah.
What was mine yesterday? You didn't know?
Oh,
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it.
Surmise.
Nobody knows
That's
it.
right.
Surmise, yeah.
Maelstrom now online for Pakaz. You're now unpaused. We'll start talking about the game again.
So what do you do for Aster? You kind of need to find a way of avoiding full-on team fights, I think, because the kotl is just overpowering you with the Bat right now. So you need to find skirmishes where you can use Glimpse, where you can use Raze combo, where you can use the Mars. The problem is EG are kind of just pushing out the lanes and feel very comfortable. And
Yeah.
it's not like they're going to slow down the pace and start spreading out and letting you catch them off guard. They're going to keep the pressure up on you and smoke and make moves.
Yeah, and I think there's a few items that Aster needs before they can start fighting. Like, SumaiL doesn't really want to enter these fights. He has Dragonlance now, but obviously BKB is the big one for him, although there
Even
is some
BKB
answers
is-
to that because you have Lasso, you have Rupture.
Rupture still kills you.
Baboka, he's done. But then as well, Alchemist doesn't have Radiance yet, and you can't really fight with Radiance. You need something on top of that. So there's still like want to say, an 8 to 10 minute window where EG can probably just continue with this
Radiant's
high-octane
middle tower
offense.
is under attack.
Yep.
What is that
Dyer's
building?
top
Is that a
tower is
flag?
under
Oh,
attack.
it's a little hut.
Yeah, it's a little... Wow, it's a well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Radiant's bottom
wishing
tower
well.
is under
Okay, I
attack.
wonder if that's going to be the next objective. That is...
I think Aster should go there, all 5 of them, throw in some coins and wish for a remake.
That's where all the tips go, into that well.
Oh, that would actually be kind of cool if you could mouse over the well and see how many players had been tipped in Dota history and in your game.
Yeah, that would be
nice.
very useful.
That's such a good
Panda,
idea. You're really smart.
inside kinetic field. He's going to get speared like... No, not even needing. Okay. We'll throw it just to get the kill.
Do you have a tally for how many things you've suggested that have made it into the game?
No, but it's a lot. I actually once got an email from somebody that was convinced that I work for Valve because he gave me a full list of things that I've said that have gone into the game.
I can confirm
Most of
that
which
that is
people
not the
called me.
case.
Most people call me a moron.
Yeah, I mean,
with
they're
each
right, too.
suggestion.
Absolutely.
You know? And then this patch comes out.
You're,
Yes.
you're crazy scientist.
Okay.
You have all these crazy ideas, but some of them, some of them turn into greatness.
Okay.
Most geniuses of history were considered crazy.
That's right. In their time. That's
Yes,
true.
exactly.
Yeah. And it's not until they're long dead before they're
Yes,
appreciated.
you will
so.
eventually be appreciated, but you will not be around to experience it.
Understandable, and I totally agree. The glimpse, unfortunately, there's still more heroes on top of that. You can't multicast it or anything. So that's going to be the death of Siamese Cat.
It's just a very quiet game right now for Aster because their lineup, as we talked about, they needed to go well in lanes so they could get to their items. But what when the lanes go poorly and the early game doesn't go your way? You have very little to fall back on. You don't really have the best playmaking heroes. Your best one is Mars. He needs items to playmake though. Like this hero doesn't.
He does have enough for blink. Yeah, he just
Finally
bought the
Dagger.
blink. So that's the start.
So Dagger and then
Dyer's
Elk
middle
Radiance
tower
coming
is
up
under
probably in a
attack.
minute could be a potential timing. Because as much as we talk about the BKBs for the Radiant, how about the Dire? Like you start getting BKBs on their cores,
Yeah.
what does Aster do?
Yeah,
they
there
can
is-
right click with Shadow Fiend, that's pretty much it.
There's
It's
nothing that goes through. That is true.
So EG kind of have better tools against BKBs because they at least have the 2 piercing abilities.
He's going to be found out here. XXS using that Blink Dagger for the first time, along with the Arena. The Static Storm's right on top of it. And that's already a 2-for-1 in favor of EG as they're continuing to pursue. But SumaiL, BKB, but the rest of his team is cleaning up.
Too
And that's
easy
SumaiL
for
and
EG.
XXS
Too
taken
easy,
out
man.
very easily.
Bad BKB right there in action for the first time. Good glimpse though. This could be big.
This will be a very big kill,
That's
showing off that new
huge
Radiance. So Aster.
He died to Thunderstrike. Unfortunately, I want to say, because I really think Alchemist needs that kill bounty right now.
Yeah.
So that was an unfortunate circumstance. Still, you're going to be very happy to get that kill, of course, but you really need this Alchemist to reach critical mass soon. But this is going to get rough.
We are 4 minutes away from the Tormentor, of course. Important.
Did a little bit of a backstage survey the other day. Sounds like Tormentor is the current winner.
Of pronunciations, as opposed to Tormentor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's correct. I don't know if it's an actual word.
What, Torment? Of course it is.
Well, torment is, and to torment is also, but a tormentor, isn't that like kind of an...
Yeah, you're
invented
tormenting
word?
me because you're a tormentor. Maybe it's not a word.
I'll take the word for it.
We'll look it up after this game. I'll forget about this conversation in about 10 seconds.
You forget about everything.
I'm the human goldfish, as it were. Aetherlands now.
Those generally don't get appreciated until after they're dead, but then they're considered geniuses.
I don't know if anybody appreciates a goldfish at any point, if I'm being
Dyer's
honest.
middle tower
Damn, that's
is under
harsh.
attack.
A lot of people love their goldfish, Shannon.
There's no way. Those things last like a week, man.
No, they love them back when they remember them.
Dyer's
Because he's going to get a double stack here. He's
Nice,
gonna
juicy.
stack
That's a
one more
triple stack,
time.
Shannon.
Yeah, now, no, it wasn't. Now it's triple.
Dyer's
I said he's
middle
gonna
tower
get a double
is under
stack.
attack.
He's gonna get a triple stack.
Dyer's
He's going to have a
middle tower
BKB
has
as
fallen.
well.
Oh, nice.
Radiant's
Avoiding
top
the
tower is under attack.
correction there.
I would love to look at stats for neutral item pickups, like how often people prefer to go for a specific one. Because like Faded Brooch was a great example before it got nerfed after literally one day, even though it's in the last patch.
Nice damage.
Yeah, this
Whisper.
Predator is gonna die. Matthew looking to steal it, but Whisper all calculated. He has the Orchid now, by the way. He is so fat.
I mean, this guy, in my opinion, is the best offlane kotl in the world. There's not that many offlaners playing it, to be honest, but it's just whenever you see Whisper having a good game on this hero, he carries as a kotl, right? Like, top net worth. He's making so many moves happen. 7-1 and 3. Has the early Orchid to just keep killing these supports with no problems and just dictating
Middle tower
flow of the game, which is what we wanted to see from them. So
structures
yeah, it's a treat to watch. This hero really is one of the heroes of all time.
It's one of the heroes of all time.
It's a meme. You wouldn't get it. It's funny.
You're right. I did laugh.
There you go.
Blink dagger now there.
Even you can
Smile.
save by memes.
Because
top tower is
focusing on
under
the
attack.
tier 1, this looks to be uncontested
structures are
as
fortified.
Aster still delaying. So let's see. How close are
Radiant's
all the
middle
items that they
tower
need?
has
SumaiL
fallen.
about 200 away from BKB.
Dire's top
We
tower
already
is
saw
under
the
attack.
Radiance or Alk
Dire's
as,
top tower.
okay, Marty
Speak of the
Arena.
devil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big kill.
You complimented the kotl and Whisper now dies.
Easy curse. Easy.
That'll extend this a bit
Oh.
as
Oh.
Rupture, but the TP, no. No time for that. As Monet, okay, they do have Lasso. Do they have
No
the
Rupture,
damage, though? Yeah, without Rupture,
This is not
pretty
happening,
difficult,
is
but
it?
they do force the BKB, which I think is a win in and of itself. Concoction's coming, though, because, okay, that's a trade of BKBs, so now it's a tie, because this is the tiebreakers after all. It's
Yep.
only natural. It's only fitting. There's the BKB there for SumaiL, and I think the BKB should be coming from Monet. Yeah, he's already working on the Blink Dagger. So I think with these items, is that enough for Aster? Or they need some more?
I mean, it's definitely going to give them a fighting chance. The thing that I was just thinking is, isn't this kind of funny? It feels like a time machine that we just went back 1 month. Everybody's going first main item BKB, and nobody has auras. Like, this is... It's kind of an unusual game, right? Like, most meta games right now have a Pipe or a Crimson or both and Greaves. These players are just playing the last patch, basically. I'm not faulting them for it with the drafts. I think their itemization is good. It's just kind of funny that it turns out that way in this game. Because you could have argued that Mars against this lineup could buy a Pipe, right? It's against Core, kotl, Bat, mid. Yeah. But the problem for their lineup is if he doesn't have the dagger, they have no catch. So he kind of has to play that role. And at that point, when you're that late in, are you going to start building a Pipe now? Probably better off just getting a
Tormentor time.
Yeah.
All right, who gets it?
Pugna.
Disruptor or Pugna?
Pugna.
Who do you want it on?
Pugna.
Neither of them are really that useful.
It's on Pugna. And the reason I want it on Pugna is that I like to see people suffer. I don't know.
Who's going to suffer?
Is it good this
Baboka?
game? I mean, it gives cast range on Nether Ward, which is nice, but I find the draining ward thing to be extremely niche. So I actually think this one is largely irrelevant.
Yeah.
The cast range on the ward is nice, though, because in a lot of areas of the map, you can now suddenly start placing it behind trees or over cliffs or whatever. So that luxury is good. But, I mean, it's a level 1 Nether Ward, right? He's not even prioritizing it this game as a support.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
Very low impact shard for this game. But it's a shard that EG don't have.
Smoke from EG. Getting close to SumaiL. He's going to pop it, actually. Spirit Vessel applied. There's the lasso initiation.
Yeah,
SumaiL looks dead.
Yeah, what can you do?
The demon has died. Baboka now on the run. He will likely be caught up.
He has the shard, though.
He does have the shard. That will maintain through death, believe it or not. Double kill for SumaiL. This is the interesting thing, though.
That's actually a problem that he had the shard there. Now they got more gold.
This is the interesting thing about Tormentors, though, that creates a new variable for balancing, which is really interesting because in game, like before, you just look at win rates of, you know, these heroes buying shards. How good are they when they buy them? How good are they when not? And that's relatively simple. Now, a lot of these supports are getting shards for free. That could be a buff in and of itself now, where you don't need to, like, if these heroes are primarily support, then you can just buff the shard, and that is a bigger buff than it would have been before, right?
Yeah, because before they would have to get it from Roche.
Yeah.
And most
Or
of the
buy
time,
it
second
over a
Roche
long period of
be
time.
given to a core.
Smoke is
They don't
popped.
just want it.
Dire's courier.
Roche is at half HP. There's the Rupture on the Monet. He's going to try to run through it. Pops his ult. There's the lasso. Are they going to try to reposition inside that Blood Right? He's just dead inside the BKB. Very unfortunate for Aster. I don't think they can fight without this Alk now. Especially SumaiL, who I don't even think has full souls after that recent death. XXS, he's forced to use his Mars ult, but
Well, that's
to no
debatable.
avail whatsoever.
He got a BKB out of SumaiL by doing it, but his team weren't actually really range. All right, they're just going to brute force this.
They want to
Aster.
fight. Orchid onto Baboka. There's a static storm. Actually beautifully placed.
Okay.
Netting themselves a kill onto the CM. And
What an
somehow
awkward
they defend
standoff
this. I am
this is.
actually shocked that they defended this.
Yeah. Oh, that's
That's
a lot.
4 lotuses. Delicious flowers. Okay. Wait, are they going? No, they're not going in the pit. Thinking about it,
Roche
though.
is still lit, right?
Yeah. Lit.
We've
In
been
more
playing a
ways
little
than
bit of
one.
Counter-Strike in our off time. We've been playing some Wingman, so
That's
it becomes a part of the vocabulary. Not to say
I hit him for 20 damage. He's lit.
Roche is lit for 5K. Here comes
Oh,
EG.
for God, he's got the blood right. That's a beautiful usage of it. They're trying to. Oh, they actually have a lasso up already onto SumaiL to the other side, but he popped the BKB. Now Boundless Strike and the Wukong's command, but this is only a support Monkey King who gets destroyed outright. And Pakaz goes down to XXS on the sideline.
This is going awesome for Aster.
Aster will likely get this Aegis now as a
Taking
result.
advantage of the cooldowns. No lasso, no BKB on bats. He's not that strong.
Oh, wait, the last hit!
Oh, he got
goes to EG! I mean, the Aegis is the more important part, and they're going to get the kill on Whisper. So the question is, was that worth it? How much gold does that actually give?
I mean, what a 60.
Yeah, he got a huge net
That was a pretty sick steal.
game from that.
Damn. What a player.
If you could go back as Whisper, would you do that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, because it gives karma.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's upvotes on Reddit, and as we all know, that is more important than winning tournaments. So
Dire's
Gotcha,
bottom
there
tower
it
is
is.
so
under
clutch
attack.
though. What a perfect timing from him. Nice reaction as well though from XXS to go and get him. Right, I don't think that's why Matthew was shaking his head, by the way. I don't think that was the Roche steal. It was probably more like, how the hell did we lose control here?
Yeah.
After killing these heroes and especially killing the Alk first. But great job from Aster, just weaving in and out, buying time, and recognizing that they were able to stand their ground with Bat and with Bat spells on cooldown and the Bloodseeker Rupture also down. They were able to control this, and all of a sudden this game that EG were snowballing the crap out of has kind of equalized. Yeah, you're still behind on gold with an Alk, which is not the best look, but you look across the board with net worth distributions, the healthy sign for them is that it's not just, oh, Alk is big and everyone else is poor. Because
Right.
those games Alk tends to lose, where the net worth is close, but you're the only core, and then the enemy team just counters you and you have nothing. But Shadow Fiend and Mars can hold their own. So countering out the Alk is not enough. You saw a massive impact from SumaiL in that previous fight when Alk was dead. So that is not going to be enough for EG.
And it also depends on how useful this Aegis will end up being for SumaiL, because you could technically put a gold number on that depending on how he uses it. which-
And also, how useful is kotl going to be down the stretch? Because he's obviously starting to run his course, right? It's not like this hero disappears, but very much falls off compared to other cores. Yeah, pretty healthy sign for Aster. Like this was going to be a stomp, but we have a game on our hands. Indeed. Maiden gets a shard from the Tormentor.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Oh,
under
did
attack.
she?
Yep. So can move
Another
during freezing
meh.
field and cast spells.
Yeah, that's another thing. I keep thinking of like random topics, but
Radiant's
that's
middle
another thing where I
tower
feel
is
like
under attack.
maybe going forward, there's going to be more incentive to be like, I don't know if people are thinking about this at all right now, but if I
Radiant's bottom tower
maybe there's
is
a
under
not
attack.
so efficient or
Dire's top
amazing
tower is
support,
under
but their
attack.
shard is just so good that it's actually worth picking because you're getting an early shard. I know it's not the only reason you would pick the early.
Right.
That has to go into the calculation to some degree.
The issue is it's not reliable, right?
Yeah, that's
If you were sure you would get it,
All right, Arena breaks all the trees. Goodbye, Matthew.
He feels better already. That's interesting. Usually getting knocked off a tree and killed as Monkey King doesn't make you feel better. But that's good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to get ganked. That's a lot of couriers on the minimap. Looks like a turbo match. They're all flying out together.
Turbo match would be much faster.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a misleading stat at the end.
Healing done.
Yeah, Bloodseeker will always be stupidly high
Like
on
these
this.
self heals shouldn't count, I think. It should be heals towards allied heroes that are not yourself.
But the thing is, if there's one thing that's good, even if you lose, it's when you can look at your stats and be like, man, I did more healing than teammates combined. They really let me down.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Everybody
you
needs
play
a
Zeus and
scapegoat.
you're like, man, I did so much more damage than everyone else. I did my part. I carried, but we still lost. It's like, no, you played
Very
Zeus.
true. SumaiL.
All right.
Aegis. They're going to find a Monkey King again.
Damn,
Inside that
Matthew,
kinetic
no.
field. Here comes Monet. Gets off a beautiful concoction onto the CM. Rebuke blows them up. So that's 2 dead already in favor of EG.
This is kind of starting to fall apart a little bit, I have to say. Like, they need to... I think EG need to be careful not to slip up any further than this. Again, the goal looks all right. It looks healthy, but you gotta keep taking initiative with the heroes that you have and the way that they peak right now. Or rather, probably peaked 5 to 10 minutes ago. But if you start slowing down, I have less and less faith in EG taking this down the stretch. There's so much minus armor on the Radiant between Alchemist and Shadow Fiend. Even Mars could contribute to that if he wanted to with itemization. He could get an AC. I'm assuming they'll get that on the Alpha. He actually has it now. Mars will be getting Refresher. I don't know if he can support that. Do they have mana for this? Borderline.
Go ahead and do your math.
Yeah, it's borderline. Maybe if he gets the right tier 3 neutral. If he gets a ceremonial robe, he'll be fine for sure. He does have a token available.
See SumaiL looking for an opening. He's going to get SumaiL again. The Aegis is still intact, though.
5 seconds. They're timing this to a T.
Yeah, if they... Okay.
3.
About to go out, and he's trying to kite them a bit. Pops the BKB. There's a back, but a beautiful heal coming out from Baboka. And the Requiem. He wants it. Can't get it off in time. He keeps getting back. SumaiL just wants to get off Requiem. Finally gets it off inside the arena, but he's not going to do that much damage. Still getting healed up from Baboka, who now has to be careful because he's almost dead. Continue to right-click onto SumaiL. SumaiL looks like he's going to live, and 3 dead already for EG as SumaiL looking to be next on Aster's menu. Getting to the low ground, gets the flame break off, but the concoction does hit in the air. Oh, the spear did connect, but the glimpse is enough.
Yeah, give him the
Beautiful
tip. SumaiL says Baboka. Suck God. Amazing fight. I kind of can't believe that he survived through all of that, but just full duration life drains coming out from Baboka twice in a row on the SF, and somebody from EG has to be able to cancel that, but they just weren't.
Yeah.
I might lose Matthew now too. Will Orchid. It's okay. Damn.
Dire's middle tower.
That was crazy because I actually really like the way EG set that up.
Yeah.
They initiated on SumaiL, they got him low, they waited for the Aegis to expire, and then they want to commit, but the heals just too much. Somebody had to stop Baboka there. And nobody was able to. They obviously didn't have the lasso, they used that to set the whole play up.
You know what would be a good item?
Wow.
Pugna is...
Got a replay here.
Yeah, let's see. The Aegis about to expire. SumaiL trying to reposition Baboka behind the trees. Actually, really not that far away. It's like almost
He's very
melee
visible
range.
too, like he's not glimmered. He's just standing there.
Yeah.
Is there really nobody that can stop? Monkey King isn't there yet. He's connecting
Yeah,
mid. I was like, where's the Boundless? But
I was going to say, I think Whisper, maybe getting the Will-O-Wisp would be really good this game.
Will-O-Whisper.
That's right.
Yeah. True.
Pugna's not going to itemize against that. Like, you're not getting a BKB on this guy.
Wait, so how does it work if you're mid life drain and it proc?
I assume it, I mean,
I'm actually not
cancel, right?
certain how it works.
Am I dumb?
If you're channeling there.
Oh, I heard a BKB somewhere. Oh. Okay, Monet. He destroys Whisper. Oh. And this is starting to look much more in favor of Aster now. Yeah. Pistol Blade. Almost there. Just a Vanguard from Monet to be able to finish it. Disruptor. Only 800 away from Ags.
Yeah,
One of
that's
the most
a big
powerful
one.
Ags in the entirety of Dota 2.
They don't have the best reliable setup, but if they get any sort of Mars Spear connection, it's just a kill. Because the enemy team don't have any saves. EG can't. They don't have. They don't even have a Force Staff, right? No. So if anyone gets speared to a tree or to the arena and gets Static Storm, that's a death sentence. They have no way of stopping that. The extra thing to worry about for them is pretty concerning in general. And also, not to get ahead of ourselves here, because no matter how this game goes, there's obviously a Team Bet Boom waiting after this series. If you're EG and you end up losing this game when you had all the cards in your hand, you're playing really, really well, and you're just playing super aggro and you drop the ball, you've got to be able to reset for that series as well later on.
Yeah.
Because obviously the most important thing in this three-way tie is to not lose both. You need to win one game.
That's right.
The loser gets knocked out and the other two get placed 5th, 6th for seeding. So really about keeping cool even if you lose. And for Aster, obviously, they've already shown some pretty good resilience in this game. I think this was looking rough and it definitely could have crumbled, but they were able to play to their strengths. Now they're the ones with the ball. Mars has exactly what we wanted to see, a ceremonial robe plus refresher, so he got the neutral item he wanted. Obviously a decently high chance of getting it.
Yeah. Definitely different than before. Let's just call it out. Yeah, just needs a ceremonial robe, he'll be fine. He gets it.
I mean, he couldn't have planned for it either, because he didn't start buying the refresher after they got the neutral items. So.
Yeah, boy, they were just scanned
What
out.
alternatives are there?
So we'll see if EG think that they're not. They can see that it's not
Radiant's
red
top
any
tower
longer.
is under attack.
Going down this bridge of destruction, SumaiL will go first. Runs right into Panda, who gets... Okay, I thought that was going to be a 3-shot, but he's actually going to live for the time being. Because actually already used his Rupture, but SumaiL's just going to stand still. Getting healed from afar. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. So no Rupture. This means Roche... Oh, another minute till it actually spawns.
If it was up there, we'll probably claim it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just an interesting note on the tier 3 items. I hadn't really thought about this until now that we're having the conversation, but now that there's also the Dandelion Amulet, you have 2 options for the Mars. Because the Dandelion Amulet gives 300 mana, and the ceremonial robe gives 350.
What's the Dandelion Amulet? Is that the one that blocks damage every X seconds?
25 move speed, 300 mana, and every 12 seconds block 300 magic damage.
Yeah.
So the reason this is interesting is that if in the past you were kind of reliant on getting a neutral item or getting specific build-up items to fund the refresher, you have way better odds now, because you just need one or the other. Prior to this, the only really good mana item at tier 3 was the robe.
Radiant
And it's also been through some ups and downs. And in 733 it got plus 100 mana, so that even helps further. It was down to 250, now 350 again. Okay.
See, Aster still waiting for Roche, who is now spawning.
Yep.
He will be in the bottom right for another 30 seconds. If they want to kill him, gotta do it
time.
quick. I would love to see Roche make his way over and see if he can actually die mid-travel. But they're doing it fast. Yeah, this is so unfortunate.
Timeout for Roche. He needs a moment to collect his thoughts.
Roche, so weak. Aegis, Cheese. Aegis goes to SumaiL, Cheese to Monet.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alchemist, a great cheese carrier versus Aegis, in my opinion, simply because you're a transformation.
I think that was a wisdom rune or something taken by Panda. Yeah, indeed. He's going to pay the price.
Though.
And Aster will likely take their Tormentor, or maybe not.
They could.
And who is left without a shard at the moment? That is low net worth. Disruptor doesn't have it still, and Mars, so it'd be probably one of those two. Well, I guess definitely one of those two. Mars shard is good though.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a very likely game to get a double spear though, but
The trail's always good.
sure, it's something. It's not. I feel like that shard is pretty underwhelming if you don't get double spears. It's a bit of something. It's a bit.
I mean, if you get it one time, that could just be game.
Yeah, that's true. It's a super high impact one when it lands. But you look at the Dire lineup, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, it would be tough to get the.
It's pretty hard to get a double against this lineup because they're so spread out. kotl plays mega high range. Monkey plays trees. Batrider's flanking.
Dire's top
Easy
tower
task.
is falling.
Also not going to be a necessary task probably the way this is going. It seems like just getting a solid arena is more than enough. Doesn't have to hit these crazy spears.
I mean, net worth wise, this is a really close game. Obviously, Aegis in favor of Aster, but this is an Alchemist game. They should be ahead by more if this was the last patch, but I don't know how it translates to this
Radiant's
one.
middle tower is under attack.
Again, part of it for me is also, it's a bit dangerous or misleading, I would say is the right word, to just look at the gold, because you also need to think of how much is the net worth contributing, right? Like, a lot of kotl's net worth right now is kind of dead, because the Vessel is hard to use when the enemy team starts having BKBs and Dispels, so is the Orchid. So a lot of the value that he has in his hero right now doesn't necessarily translate into just straight up oomph in the fights,
This is
whereas
going to be a surprise axe from
what Aster has is very valuable. It's immediate bang for your buck, it's right-click damage, it's Refresher on Mars.
big items coming out. Nullifier for the Bloodseeker. SumaiL has Refresher, so double lasso, double BKB.
Are they gonna lasso the...
They don't know Disruptor has the muting Static Storm. He's going to try to hide that as much as he can. Of course, you can just click the top and see
Dandelion
now.
Amulet is really nice against Illuminate, actually.
Dire's
Oh,
top
that's
tower
true. Yeah.
Boca just negated
There's the
entirely.
first
Right, here we go.
lasso. Actually bringing SumaiL quite out, but nice Abyssal Blade initiation from the Alchemist. But SumaiL's just going to die. That is the Aegis. Reflection caught by SumaiL. Another lasso with a nullifier applied to the Alchemist, just trying to take him away from the fight as Monet's BKB now dissipates. XS, the worst name in Dota, pops the Mars ult, and they're going to find Pakaz relatively easily inside his own base. He does not have buyback at all, but Aster starting to get low. Alchemist looks dead. Double kill from Panda of all heroes, and XXS is going to go down next. Triple kill. Ultra kill for a Crystal Maiden. Are you serious? The shard was God tier. That shard was so good.
Yep.
We talk shit about it.
No, not that one. It was about the Pugna one. The main one's good. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, what do you know? It was looking like a great fight. They had to use 2 support buybacks, but the fact of the matter is that Aster threw everything at that. Their BKBs expire, and then they're just getting destroyed by a sticky napalm and maiden ult. So you see, they have to dive pretty
Radiant's
fast,
middle
deep,
tower
pretty
is
far
under
for this. And
attack.
kotl also, as much as I talked about his net worth not being powerful during BKBs, once they end, his hero does a lot. He has a
Radiant's
blind, he has
bottom
tons of
tower is
AoE
under
damage,
attack.
control. Yeah.
Okay.
G with a good hold. Find this game
Indeed.
very difficult to predict.
I mean, this was a fight of reveals, right? Nullifier,
Yep.
which I don't know how much that actually did that fight, but more so the refresher from SumaiL was
Radiant's
huge.
bottom
Other
tower
side, the
is under
disruptor one
attack.
could have had huge impact, did not.
Yeah.
So EG defend and have taken the technical net worth lead. See how it goes from here, but very exciting. I was gonna say game number 1. This is a best of 1 tiebreaker. We will be having 3 to figure out which 2 of the teams will continue on in the major.
Everything to play for. Anti-edge sword will be found for Pakaz. Pretty decent. Get some extra flat damage on that hero. Never bad.
Tormentor dies.
Shard for XXS. So now we have the triple spear. That's not true. Double
This'll
spear.
come in handy.
Well, quadruple because he does have refresher, right?
Yeah, actually true.
Yeah.
And he could have No, he couldn't. It doesn't work like that, Shannon. Stop saying dumb things.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You get 2 doubles. That's
Yeah, but I was about to say you could make it triple, but you can't. You can't like use it and not refresh and have. That doesn't make sense.
No, you can have triple. You have 1. You just hit 1 time, and then you refresh and get a double the next.
Oh, like that.
Triple.
Yeah.
Martyr's plate for Alchemist.
Radiant's middle
Wow.
tower is
And a
under
trickster
attack.
cloak and a trickster cloak.
Yeah, of course, Trickster Cloak will always be chosen. Okay, talk to me. 20% magic resistance, really good. This is the first time I've seen this item at all. It feels like it's literally catered to Abaddon, but for an Alchemist, that's your position 1. Talk to me. What is it? Because he has crazy regen? He's able to dispel like the Solar Crest with the BKB or with, you know, his ult.
Well,
and
first
Berserk
of all,
potion.
the flat 20% is really good this game, right? The enemy team has a ton of magic damage. Crystal Maiden,
I mean,
that,
he didn't get cloak
kotl.
then, is what you're saying.
What's that?
He didn't get the cloak then as an option.
Yeah, probably. But also, redirecting to you when you have a lot of regen is valuable, right? It's technically just flat out lost damage for the enemy team if they go on SumaiL and he pops this plate next to him with Chemical Rage on. It just out heals the damage that he takes. So I kind of like it as an idea. Trickster Cloak would have probably been better if he was offered that, I want to say, but I think for Alchemist it's debatable at the very least. For most other heroes, I don't think there's much
Is under attack.
contest.
Yeah, it feels a bit
Radiant's
niche for
bottom
sure.
tower has fallen.
It's a cool idea though. If the numbers are off,
Radiant's
that's one
middle
thing, then you
tower
can
is
just
under
buff the
attack.
item, but I think it's a lot of the new neutral items are kind of creative in nature, right? We haven't really seen much of the tier 1s, you know, the ones that only work if you're within range of enemy
Radiant's
heroes and
middle
stuff. They haven't
tower
really been
has fallen.
popular. But I think conceptually it's an interesting idea
Yeah.
for neutral items to work that way.
Yep, I agree. And it's good that now that you have the option, a lot of the items share similar statistics, but they're just divvied up a little bit differently, so you don't feel too bad if you miss out on one. Like this magic resist, like you're talking about for both the cloak and martyrdom, or what the hell that item's called.
And the good old ninja gear will be grabbed here by Pugna, so he can just smoke himself. Spell Prism, Pichu.
7k lead for EG. I mean, would you put somebody in the driver's seat right now?
I feel like it's a coin flip for me almost, because it's like the gold lead isn't really that instrumental. It's all about who gets the jump and who gets to use their refresher, who gets to kill the right target, who gets value out of their BKBs. Vision is everything right now. And I guess with that in mind, maybe you favor the Dire because they have better vision tools. They have Batrider, they have the Monkey King as well. Try to get information. Maybe that could be a little bit of an edge. SumaiL has a double damage rune bottled though. That kind of offsets a lot of advantage.
Has a butterfly, which they don't have an answer to.
And he has the shard. He hits pretty damn hard.
Yes, with a little mini fear on attack.
You're probably 3-shot the nade.
If she's ulting, maybe not.
Yeah, then he can. Well, he stops the ult with the fear.
Oh, that's true.
So
But she's not, she doesn't have BKB. Oh, she does.
She does. Then he doesn't fear her.
8-second BKB.
If that is active. SumaiL.
Oh, the initiation. Lasso, but it is a BKB Mars. There's the arena on top of it. He uses his rebuke as well as Panda actually using his ult on top of XXS, who just pops the second refresher into the Mars arena and his ult as well. Looks like the Batrider is going to be the dead one out of EG, along with the Monkey King as well. But you can see Bloodsinger trying to go to town, but Kotl does die. The damage coming out from Aster is just too much. SumaiL, he buys back in the game. TP's even he gets 2 shots by SumaiL. Triple kill for the Shadow Fiend. Panda looks to be next. Make it an Ultra. This Shadow Fiend is out of control all of a sudden. Looks like Whisper will be able to get out, but only 2 alive for EG with a bunch of buybacks. Did Aster lose 1 hero? Yes, they did. They got 2 buybacks, but on the supports, so the cores are still more than okay to continue pushing here.
Talk about value from a double damage rune. SumaiL hard carried that fight. He Akaz ran in to try to get the kill on the Pugna who kept healing people, and he did get it, but SumaiL just wailed him in. You're going to see the replay here. Yeah, there you go. You saw the last shot. Killed him before that too.
Well, this one right here, SumaiL comes in with a fresh
1,
life.
2.
2. It was 2.
Yep.
Literally 2 shot.
1. Some good crits. A little bit of nice RNG here as well.
Yeah.
SumaiL visibly frustrated.
Indeed, and they're going to lose a lot of buildings here, and maybe even more. Rupture onto XXS, who tries to go a little bit deeper into the base, as kotl is just getting right-click down, and the Abyssal Blade stops him in his tracks. He will buy back, and that should mean no buyback for EG at all left over.
50 seconds on bat. This lineup pushes
should be it.
Stupidly fast.
Yeah, SumaiL is just going to continue to right-click these towers.
AC, they have Presence Aura.
Well, he does not have Presence Aura for the buildings, actually. He did not go for that talent, but still,
you're right.
More than enough damage as Matthew trying to hold this off a little bit longer, gets off the Wukong's command along with the BKB, but there's the right clicks coming in again from SumaiL, who is disarmed for the time being, so has to use raises instead, but they find the kill in the end. 1 tier 4 down, the next about to as well. Akaz trying with all his might to try and delay, but XXX with another Mars Arena. Monet there with the Abyssal Blade. Down goes the Bloodseeker for 2 full minutes, and now all Aster has to do is focus on this Ancient, as Panda again really trying his hardest, doing quite a bit of damage, but at this stage of the game it's just not going to be enough. And SumaiL and Aster will win this best of 1 in very crazy fashion. Although SumaiL pops the BKB, gets the double flame break off as well. SumaiL getting Hex now. There's a refresher for the instant Hex onto SumaiL. And a 3-shot make it 4. Double kill for SumaiL, and that's it. Aster